think is important. That's the issue of crony capitalism. What do you think are some reforms that we can enact to make the government less corrupt?
Crony capitalism, I think, is the result of the fact that the federal government has not only enormous power over the private economy that it shouldn't have, and therefore, when it comes to simple things like getting a permit, building a bridge, there's a guy who's making a modest salary who makes that decision. So people come around, various people who want to get that contract, and they make deals with him, right? This is the deep corruption of our process. The founders had actually a very good solution to it, and that was reduce the power of the federal government to control so much of the economy, to control oil drilling and education and healthcare, and that's going to make it less possible for corrupt people who are in politics to be so corrupt, and it's going to reduce the incentive of people in the private sector who should be competing with each other to compete with politicians like Hillary to put money in their back pocket.
Okay, I love this. So let's break this down. So first of all, Republicans have a talking point. We're against big government. Okay, great. You're against the giant military, the largest government program we have? No, I love that big government. Okay, great. You're against intruding on a woman's right to choose and getting between her and her doctor. No. I love that big government. No, I love that big government. I love a government so big it's in your ovum. Okay. So why do they do it? So here's the interesting part. Why do they do it? So it isn't because they're concerned about big government. It's because they want lower taxes and less regulation. So that way they can save money. They can save money if they have less safety features in their mine, but your family might die in a mine accident. But they saved a couple of bucks with a talking point about smaller government. And look, any tiniest little change in the tax code gets the rich billions of dollars. Why do you think they do the crony capitalism in the first place? Why do you think they send Dinesh out with his talking points? So that he can convince people, let's go smaller government, by which I mean less taxes for me and less regulation so I can take more risks and do more pollution.
Notice the question was about controlling corruption in the political process, i.e. buying politicians. He didn't have anything to say about that, so he switches and starts talking about mining accidents, which are not the subject under discussion.
Great, let's do it. Thank you. So, now you want a real answer. So I'm telling you what the...
We've been looking for a real answer from you, Cenk the Jank. All you've been doing has been a blubbering buffoon this entire time. We would love an answer from you that made some freaking sense. I mean, can you give us one? Are you going to give us one now? Because we've been through, almost like an hour of these debates here, chopping them up into little bite-sized pieces over here. And I'm telling you, bruh, you're getting crushed by the double D. The double D is smacking you down there, bruh. I mean, you're just absolutely getting crushed in this debate. Because every time a question is asked of you, you never answer it. You answer with some other stupidity. And you come around and say, oh, you know what? You don't understand what I'm saying. I'm going to restate the same stupid answer I gave before, the same set of facts that have nothing to do with the question. And if you still don't understand it, well, that just to see what they did, they just claim to say they don't understand anything. Let's see what the buffoon has to say.
The problem is, and I'm telling you how they're trying to mislead you to get the rich even more benefits. By the way, you want to talk about welfare queens, the capital gains tax leads to, there's no reason why it should be lower than the tax that you guys pay. But if you're in the highest bracket, you now pay around 39%. If you have capital gains, you only pay 20%. And they go, that's for everybody. No, it's not. It's actually only 47% of Americans have money in the stock market. That is, it goes to, ironically, the 47% who are wealthy.
It's not the 47% who are wealthy, you idiot. There are millions of Americans. Are you trying to tell me that 47% of Americans that are in the stock market, they're all millionaires? Every single freaking one of them? These are everyday people, Cenk. Maybe you've lost touch because now you're ahead of the Young Turks. The Young Turks, a multi-million-dollar corporation, I might add. You're making millions and millions of dollars. Nobody says that. Nobody cares how much money you make, Cenk. Nobody gives a crap. I hope you go on to become a freaking billionaire and that the Young Turks and the Young Jerks become a huge place for news. What do I care? This is America. That's what capitalism all about. But you go on there and you see, this is what you progressives do. It feels good, right? Hey, we're going to bash those millionaires. We're going to bash those billionaires. We're going to bash, when they talk about taxes, for the rich and tax for the poor. We're going to do all of that. And we're going to say, you know what? You need to pay your fair share and all this stuff because it makes you look good. But in the back of your mind, you're like going, oh, I'm so glad they lowered my taxes because I don't want to pay that many taxes. But you know what? When you're out and about, hey, you know what? Let's go after everybody. But that's not what you really want to do.
Welfare queens. And of that, only the 5% gain 2/3 of all the gains from capital gains. You know what that costs us? $51 billion a year. So they are the welfare queens. And now let me explain to you how we're going to stop them. So the way that you stop the legalized bribery and the corruption is you say, hey, the money you are using for that bribery, you cannot give to politicians anymore. You cannot give into the political space anymore. So I'm going to unlegalize bribery. So what you do is you get money out of politics. And I've created an entire organization for this.
All right,
so
let me reply.
Wolf, by the way, you asked if I'm doing anything about it. It's called wolf-pack.com. Go sign up right now. Get money out of politics and end the corruption. You agree with me, right, brother?
Look, so
Watch.
I think...
By the way, this is great because this is the guy who got arrested for putting more money into politics.
Yeah.
Do you agree, Dinesh, that there is some corruption and bribery in the campaign finance system?
I totally do. And I think that the campaign finance laws exist to get people who are buying favors. Now, people are buying favors all across the political process. And the queen of this is actually Hillary. Now, let's say we pass Cenk's law. You can't bribe politicians by giving them money. Now, the Hillary setup is far too cunning for a guy like this. Hillary's setup is, if you want a deal, don't talk to me, talk to Bill. Bill will come and give a speech for 20 minutes. You pay him $750,000, more than double his normal speaking fee. That's your down payment. Then, without me ever talking to you, I will do what you want. Then you give the Clinton Foundation $33 million. This is what's going on. And this is the politician that he's covering for, while pretending to be the champion of stopping the corruption of the process.
See, he says that, but...
See, that's exactly what I was talking about. It's exactly what it is. It's like, for example, billionaires going out there and saying, oh, you know what? I want to pay more. You know what? Tax me. Yeah, I think taxes should be higher. Absolutely. In the back of their mind, okay, this is what they're doing, folks. Did you ask them to say, show me your hands so we can see your crossed fingers? Show me your legs so we can see your legs are crossed? Your whole body's all twisted up into a pretzel, Why? Because it's so easy to go out there. That's why it's easy being a liberal. It's easy being a progressive. It's easy being a leftist. You just agree with everything. You know what? They don't tax enough. So a billionaire comes out there and basically says, yeah, you know what? Wow, we need to raise taxes. We need to do it. Knowing full well that they're completely against it. They do everything in their power to save as much money. Look, the government doesn't care. If you owe $10,000 in taxes, you think the government's going to care if you wrote them a check for $100,000 if you had the money? I'm just saying. You follow that logic? Why would somebody who owes $10,000 in taxes give the government extra 90? What for? Why would a multimillionaire when Elon Musk sold that stock. I think it came out to, I don't know, what was it, 11, 12 billion, whatever the amount was. It was an unbelievable, it was the most amount of money in taxes anybody has ever paid, I believe, a personal, in terms of an individual, I believe, paid on, the sale of stock. Now, let's say, for example, Elon Musk is out there and he's saying, hey, you know what? No problem, folks. No problem at all. I'll go ahead and I owe $10 billion in taxes, but you know what? I'm going to write a check for 20. If that same person, if Elon Musk was telling everybody else to raise taxes and that we need to tax people more, and you know what, the tax laws are not equal for everybody, and the people at the top and the rich should pay more their fair share. And you know what, the government says I ought to pay 10, but you know what, I think I ought to pay my fair share because I'm a multi-billionaire. I'm going to pay $20 billion in tax. I'm going to write the check, give the United States government an extra $10 billion. There's nothing stopping anybody from doing that. And what Dinesh, the double D, basically just said is that, look, you can't, it's nice to say, oh, go to this website and sign up and get money out of politics. You are never going to get money out of politics. It's never going to happen. There are ways of getting around it. Get rid of campaign finance laws? Okay, but so what? So then you know what? Now you set up your charities, you set up your endowments, you set up your foundations, and you pay money to that entity. You pay it to someone's mother, someone's father to give a speech, your husband. I mean, so, and then never talk to that person. I never talked to this person. Isn't it amazing how everything that guy wanted got done? Coinkydink. It was just a coinkydink. This is the problem when you hear these progressive like Cenk Uygur talk and whatever. It's just talking points. It can never come to fruition. It never will, but it sounds so good to everybody else. Wow, you're on the side of the people, man. You're one of us, bruh. Not true. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you taking time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasir Shaikh Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasir. If you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, like, share, and follow us. Put your comments down below. Really like to know what you think. As my final thinking point is, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. We'll see you again next time, folks. Take care and stay safe.